Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi and today we have Dashama on the show. Dashama is an internationally known yoga and fitness expert with over 10 years of experience. She's produced several books and DVDs, has been featured on Oprah.com and has even been called the Tony Robbins of yoga. It's safe to say that it's an absolute honor to have you on the show. Welcome Dashama, how are you?
Thank you so much. I'm amazing. It's so good to be here.
Great. For those watching who don't really know what yoga is, can you explain what yoga is and where it comes from?
Absolutely. Yoga is an interesting thing because it means many things to many different people. But the actual word yoga literally translates from Sanskrit to English to mean to unite. To unite. So it's to bring union. So typically, in the spiritual sense, you're actually having a physical experience while at the same time connecting with your own spirit. And so it's spiritual exercise is what I like to think of it. But it's also a science and a system and a path that can be for healing, can be for human transformation, mental, psychological, emotional transformation and healing can occur with the different practices. And one of the most profound aspects of yoga is meditation. So when you bring that in to the exercise practices and integrate that into the vinyasa practice or at the end, it can be really life-changing for people immediately.
Wow, great. After graduating from college, you got a quote-unquote real job and soon fell into what you refer to as the darkest depression of your life in an interview I read. Tell us how you came out of that difficult time and the role that yoga played in that journey.
Absolutely. I feel that being guided by intuition, and that's one of those things that we teach in yoga, that you have this inner guiding intuition, and it's located here. Like, this is the energy center. Your third eye is where, when you meditate and you go inside and you ask for guidance and direction and signs to move forward. And for myself, having been through many challenges and like many people, but very, very powerful, deep, painful experiences growing up, and then as early adulthood, I was blessed to be guided to discover my life purpose at a young age, to be first in the fitness training. I was a fitness model, and then I was a fitness trainer, and then I was a yoga teacher. And it wasn't intentional. I actually got into yoga because I just needed my own healing, because I was going through a breakup with a boyfriend, and I had a traumatic accident with my neck in a car accident, all these things. But what it did was, I just being guided, I noticed that people were wanting me to teach them yoga. So I would just teach all the time for free at first, and just giving and giving, but I was learning and learning, and at the same time I was growing, and I was developing myself and my own strengths and my own individuality and my own voice and my own ability to connect with people, and healing myself while healing others, and transforming myself while transforming others. So it's just been a really beautiful reciprocal journey yoga gives to me, and then I give back, and it's like nourishing the whole way.
Wow, incredible. You personally developed Pranashama, yoga, and the Prasha method. Can you explain what makes those methods unique?
Absolutely. It's a vinyasa practice, but it combines a lot of different Eastern techniques and modalities like qigong and certain breath exercises and yoga nidra, guided healing meditation, inner child healing meditation, with a very vigorous vinyasa yoga practice. So we're drawing upon the fitness, we're drawing upon functional fitness, core strengthening, balance, and at the same time we balance that with Thai yoga massage and with yin yoga and restorative practices, and then partner yoga. So we take like the best of all the worlds and then integrate that with more modern technology, that some of the nutrition, the superfood technology, that we're able to bring energy into the body. We call it prana or chi, but through what we eat, through what we do, through our lifestyle, and with this understanding of the world and how we can cultivate that energy from our surroundings, then we're able to be the most radiant versions of ourselves. So it's it's a unique fusion style. We'll just say that, and it's really catching on globally. A lot of people now we have 20 teachers around the world, and many of them in Europe actually, and Australia, Canada, and America specifically, teaching pranashama yoga, and people just always love it because you start out vigorous and you always end like in a kind of nurturing, restorative practice, so that by the end you're just in complete bliss.
Oh, amazing. You actually use the same system to heal your own spine after having several accidents. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. I was in 3 car accidents, major car accidents, and then in addition to the car accidents, I was also in a couple of snowboarding accidents, so I was always like hurting my neck. And the first car accident, my car flipped, and that was really incredible. And then another car accident, a car hit us, T-boned us, and I broke my arm. And then the third accident, I was actually not in a car, I was in a bicycle, and I got T-boned on a bicycle, and the car was going 45 miles per hour. So when that one happened, that was the worst one, and it actually caused me to lose the curve in my cervical spine. And so like a typical cervical spine, which is the neck, has like a good curve, and then that just supports the weight of your head. But when you lose the curve and it goes straight, and actually it was starting to go forward, it was straining all the muscles in my back and my upper back and shoulders and neck and thoracic spine. And so through the practice of yoga, and then also including the other practices, the Thai massage and healing therapies, as well as this other technique called the Atlas Profilix, which I also integrate into my trainings when I can, which is based out of Switzerland, actually. And that whole combination was able to align my spine again, and then when the spine has perfect alignment and the muscles are in support of that, it starts to get the curve back, and because it's natural, it's called intrinsic equilibrium. Like your body has a natural desire to be in perfect balance, so it starts to come back to balance. So that was really important as far as for my spine, and now I really teach from a perspective of keeping a lot of awareness about the neck and the spine, and making sure, because most people don't realize that most people have some kind of misalignment in their spine, whether it's at the bottom near the hips, the lower back, or it's at the top in the neck and the shoulders. But that's typically what I've come to understand, one of the root causes to almost all emotional or mental imbalances in the body.
You also talk about accessing a profound state of clarity, of purpose. Do you believe everyone on earth has a purpose? And how can we reveal and connect to that purpose?
Do. I actually really believe everyone has a divine purpose. I think that we all have special gifts. I think that when you're born, you actually are born into an environment that nurtures your own individual special gifts. And it's not till years later, usually, where you discover that, when you start to see all the pieces and how they fit together, and how your journey has brought you exactly to where you are, and it was all divine. You look back and you're like, wow, I see why I was attracted to maybe being a diver, or something, whatever it was, and then that led me to this, and that led me to meet this person, and then that led me here, and then now all of that experience has shaped who I am, and I have this special, unique gift. I have this special message that I can offer to be of service to people or the universe at large, in this special way. And so I think some people discover it earlier than others, like the people who start singing at age 2, and then they become Beyonce or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, that was obvious. But then other people, it's not so obvious. So then it takes like a lifetime to really follow that inner guidance and to see what it is that they're here for. And once they discover that, everything starts to click into place and things start to go into the flow. So in Taoism, which is a philosophy I really believe, we talk about living in the river, like going with the flow. And when you're in the flow, then everything's easy, everything's obvious, and things happen spontaneously and perfectly to support your dreams and desires. So when you're in the flow, typically you're in alignment with your dharma or your purpose. And when you're not in the flow, it's in some way your ego is trying to control the path instead of allowing the path to unfold.
Right. Would you say that, like with fitness, yoga is a lifestyle and a life path? And what is the first step someone must take to embrace that philosophy?
Absolutely. I think that, when we say yoga as a life path or a lifestyle, It definitely is. You see, especially the people who embrace it as their dharma, what they do as far as for work, but even people who maybe do something else for work, but they feel in their heart that yoga is their path, is because every time you need somewhere to turn, and then you turn to the practice of yoga, whether it's meditation or it's the physical practice of yoga, or the breathing practice to calm your nerves, or any of the practices. When you discover that default back to those practices is the most nourishing, the most effective out of any other option, that's when you know you're a yogi. It's because you realize, like, it's not about looking a certain way or necessarily living a certain way, other than living a good way, like being a good person of moral value. Although that ripples across many religions, there's always some kind of a guidelines for being a moral citizen of the earth. But with yoga, we have the guidelines of how to be a good human being. At the same time, certain practices that keep you on track. So when you get out of balance, it brings you back to your center, it brings you back to your purpose. And so when you realize that these practices are like the most essential part of your everyday, then you're a yogi. I think.
Great. Wonderful. When I think of yoga, I also think of meditation. Do they go hand in hand?
100%. Like I was just saying, I think as far as yoga, I would actually put meditation above all other of the practices, and say that it's the most important, because your mind is the most powerful tool that we have, and we have the ability to either allow our mind to rule our life, or we can control the mind and really shape our destiny with that understanding. So meditation is, I think, the top number important, and then second to that would be everything else, the breath being like really key, and then the physical practice, because it's so healing and it opens your energy centers and it keeps you alive and keeps the energy flowing.
Great. You've built an enormous audience online and have nearly 8 million views on YouTube. Over time, you received some mean comments from very negative people. How did you deal with that negativity, and how does it affect you today?
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. I think that something that helped me early on, because at first I would take things personally. I'd be like, man, instead of focusing on the 80 positive comments, you see the one negative comment and you feel bad about yourself or about what you did, instead of seeing like all the positive and how it impacted people in a good way. So someone gave me good advice. It was actually Gabrielle Reese, who was a pro volleyball player, and she said, there's always going to be 30% of people who hate you. No matter what you do, they hate everything you do. 30% of people that love you, and they love everything you do, and they're going to put the comments. And then there's 30% of people that are indifferent. And so when you know that, then you just realize that that's just one of the 30% that's not going to like me no matter what I do. So no problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then from there, you can start to just let that go, and not even, I just put like blinders up to negative, or delete it or whatever from my Facebook, because there's absolutely no point in dwelling on that. Just focus on the positive, focus on the support you're getting and the positive feedback that you're getting about your work, and you'll always succeed.
Yeah, I agree. You're currently working on the We Are One race, a campaign to raise awareness from some very important issues. Can you talk about your mission with that project?
Absolutely. I'm very passionate about We Are One Race, because I've done a lot of charity projects over the course of my life. I've been a philanthropist my whole life, but at the same time I was also a recipient of charity early on. So I have a very strong connection to charity. And at the same time, I noticed that most charity organizations don't have a sustainable way of raising money annually, so they're always kind of struggling on how to maintain the proper balance and not work so hard in order to have enough of the income in order to cover the costs of their programs. So this is the We Are One Race is a sustainable platform to create an opportunity to raise money for charities in an annualized way, year after year, online. So it utilizes a lot less of the capital and the resources and the time that previously fundraising would require. And in addition to that, it's a fun way for companies, corporate brands, to engage with their fans and customers online. So we have weekly contests and prize giveaways donated by the sponsors, and the fans can enter to win, and lots of social media integration and really fun things. And then an event calendar. So there's actually going to be live events leading up to the main event, which is in November. So when we get to the main event in November, and we're going to have a 10K relay race, an all-day expo on the beach, and then a speakers conference being held at this beautiful location, the Versace Mansion on South Beach. So it has a lot of components, and I'm just really inspired because part of my inspiration is just to create this awareness about human health and environmental sustainability across the world. There are certain locations of the world where it's already very aware. You know, Santa Monica, California, for instance, and Boulder, Colorado. There are certain cities that are more health conscious and environmentally conscious. But across the world, there still needs to be a lot more awareness. And so that's what this is about, spreading awareness while engaging people in a really fun conversation and activities, and then leading up to an actual event taking place on the beach. So again, we're going to be highlighting the beauty of our world, and our slogan is preserve world beauty, and together everyone achieves more. So we are one race. It also means we are one human race. Let's join together for this, and that's the theme.
Wow, you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Besides all of your personal success, you've been involved in many philanthropic events and charities. What is the one closest to your heart, and which accomplishments are you most proud of?
Well, the charity that I do personally feel the most connected to, I bring people to Bali every year, and part of that group, we're in Bali for 30 days, and we do this intensive yoga and meditation and diet and practice training, living together in Bali, and then I bring them to this Balinese orphanage. And every year it's so cool because it's the same orphanage, so it's the same kids, and we're watching them grow up. Well, I am anyway. It's a different group every year, but I get to see them. And they're all deaf and mute, and it's so beautiful because even with those handicaps, with not being able to speak or hear, they have this beautiful light and joy, and they dance and they play basketball, and they're very physical, and they do a lot of fitness. And I think that that's part of what's so inspiring, is that it's the movement that keeps them happy. Like, they don't have anything, but they're happy, and it's such a reminder that you don't need much, and you can be happy because happiness comes from inside. And when I show people and I bring people there, they're always reminded, and it's such a profound breakthrough when they think about all the little things that bothers them in their life, and then they realize, well, that's so insignificant compared to the problems that other people are facing. And then they can actually give themselves permission to be happy.
Great, amazing. Tell us about your plans for the future. I believe you're working on a TV show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been developing this TV show for several years, and it's really cool because I've gotten a lot of producers interested over the years, and it's just a matter of time. And actually, this June, we're going to be in Bali for the whole month at this place called Blue Lagoon, and we'll be bringing a camera, a little crew to do the pilot for the show, because previously I always filmed, but it's very like home video style, so we want to produce like a really quality pilot for the show. And we've been in talks with different networks. I've talked to National Geographic in great detail about this, and then other people have recommended possibly Discovery Network or the Oxygen Channel or Oprah Winfrey Network, different networks that would be a good fit for this content. But basically, the show is called The Biggest Breakthrough, and it's kind of a combination concept of Biggest Loser meets Survivor meets Eat, Pray, Love. So people come to Bali for 30 days, live together in this beautiful Blue Lagoon ocean view paradise, and go through this intense spiritual, physical, mental, emotional transformation. And by the end of the 30 days, they have all these breakthroughs. So the biggest breakthrough concept is that usually one person has the most profound experience. You know, one guy, for instance, lost 35 pounds in 2 weeks and got off 2 medications, and different people have different experiences. So the idea is that at the end of the show, we would kind of have a panel of judges, and even the audience can vote, and then they can choose who had the biggest breakthrough, and whoever does gets to come back for the next season and participate as a facilitator. And also, the show incorporates this whole video program that I have. It's called 30DYC, which is the yoga version of P90X, and basically the audience would be able to participate along from home while we're doing the show, and they can be getting the results with the yoga practices and the meditation, following the diet and everything like that. And then we can have like even an audience biggest breakthrough winner as well. So we have the people at home, and then we have the people that are actually in Bali, and we're going to have like 2 winners every season.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where can people learn more about your life?
Well, pranashama.com is the website that I have the most information about the programs that I teach. So it's pranashama.com. And then the other website is Dashama.tv. So Dashama and then .tv is kind of like my blog, and you can see a lot of videos. You can see the videos about my TV shows that I've been developing, and get more information just in general, and also register. You can get 3 free videos on my website, and so that's an introduction to the Prasha method, and one is for grounding, one is for energy clearing, and the other one is a fire practice, so it's for strength and confidence building. And so you can register for the 3 free videos. There's also a free meditation and an ebook. So there's 2 different free giveaways that I offer, and I always like to give as much as I can so people can get a real good taste of what the power of this can be for in your life. So I encourage people to register.
Wow, great.
And
Sorry.
no, I was just going to say, we have a few more spots available in Bali, and we're doing this big partnership with Spa Week, and Spa Week is about to announce that I'm offering 10% off for the Bali program. The program is in June. You can come for 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks and live with us in the beautiful exotic Blue Lagoon in Bali. And you can either just do a retreat, or you can come and get a certification. So at the end of 30 days, you can become a certified registered yoga teacher.
Wow, great, amazing. And I will make sure to put all the links below this video.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers?
I'm just really excited. I'm glad to meet you. This year is already amazing, but it's going to be even more exciting and amazing. We're about to launch the We Are One Race campaign May 1st. So I encourage anybody who would like to not only, just participate, but you can utilize this platform to do a number of things. Get more exposure for your company if you have a brand or a company. We're also using the platform to launch people who have a book that they're releasing. We have a number of authors that are using the platform to launch their new book or their new program. So there's a number of ways that we can support you if you join the We Are One Race movement and utilize this platform. We'll be reaching over 200 million people throughout the campaign, and it's a great way to get more exposure and also meet some really amazing people. So I really look forward to having all of you a part of that experience with us.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
You too. It was a really pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. You too.
You're most welcome. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.